I know you had a major role in this. I wouldn't say I had a major role in this, but I had a decently sized role in this.
Today, I sold my company and I made $2.
But I mean, it's not like I convinced him. He came up with this all on his own. Ludwig turning his company into a cooperative. This is something that he revealed already. I don't know why. I guess he made like a recent video or something, right?
Let me explain. I made this company a year ago called Off Brand, and the goal was to make cool events for creators, which is exactly what we did. We made this event for Doug, and we also produced the Streamer Awards. We even opened up a game publishing company with this guy, and our first game comes out later this year. So why did I sell it, and why did I only make $2? And to answer that question, I have to show you who I sold the company to. It's all these people right here. Those are the employees at Off Brand, the people who get the work done, who produce events and talk to game.
Tax avoidance scheme? Dude, come on, brother. Jesus Christ. There's literally no... I'm willing to bet that, like, since he did this, people are going to fucking shit on him. Because, like, you can't do a good thing ever, okay? No good deed goes unpunished. People will start being like, oh, I must be doing it for fucking tax reasons or whatever. Like,
game devs and everything in between. And I sold them all my ownership for literally pennies. So now it's employee owned. It's also known as a co-op. Basically, the people who work at the company get to make the decisions on what happens with the company. And I still work there. I just don't own everything, and I can't sell the company to like Amazon for millions of dollars later on. And don't get me wrong, money's cool, but I feel like when you've made enough to spend $4,000 on a tungsten cube without batting an eye, you're pretty set. And what matters a lot more to me is making a company that people love to work at and hopefully will last long after I'm gone.
Lud's a good dude. You guys know this. Aside from all the fucking memes. Okay, we can't call him MAGA Mail anymore? Nah, don't worry. MAGA Mail is still MAGA Mail. It's no longer Mao Mail. Why don't co-ops ever succeed? Yeah, totally. Famously, all the cooperative corporations are failing left and right. No, the only reason why you don't know about it is because there's a shit ton of co-ops that are currently in existence and have existed for years and years and years and years. Nobody ever talks about them as cooperative corporations. Like, and I'm not even talking about Mondragon. There are a shit ton of random fucking companies that are cooperatively owned that you don't even think about. There are different kinds of cooperative formations beyond like the regular old like one person, one vote type structures that they have. Winco Foods, that's the one I was thinking of. That's a great example. DP Electric in Arizona is employee owned and thriving. Ocean Spray is a cooperative corporation. A lot of people literally do not understand that cooperative corporations are all around them. They don't have to be fucking directly owned and operated by rugged, diehard communists at all. Okay? It's just that people don't know about it. People don't talk about it too much. It doesn't necessarily matter. A farm in my Republican town is a city co-op. Yeah. Genuine question, what's the difference between a unionized business and a co-op? I asked because I thought REI was a co-op, but apparently they're union busting. Yeah, I didn't mention REI because I don't think REI is a co-op. Valve originally was a cooperative corporation when it was first created. Cooperative corporations can be structured in many different ways, but obviously the major point of it is profit sharing, or at least having a voice in the profit sharing structure. So the company is not turning profit necessarily, but more so having every worker that plays a role in the generation of the revenue have a say in what to do with the extra revenue. That could mean that people get together and democratically vote to take those additional revenue generated and say, hey, we want to fucking take a massive company vacation. We want to get better pay. We want to get higher pay. We want to get more time off. Or they can democratically vote on marketing initiatives that they want to participate in order to grow the company. They want to, things of that nature. Ultimately, it's basically a different form of having more democracy in the workplace. That's it. Cooperatives perform pretty well, as a matter of fact. Worker productivity goes up. Job satisfaction is pretty high. Companies are way more stable when they are not in the business of simply engaging in improving profit margins for a select number of shareholders. Cooperative resources. If cooperative is based on selling products or services, the part of finance comes from the profits that they get from their activities, proceeds from assets, balance sheet assets, financial grants, donations, crowdfunding, foundations, and government financing. It's a major part of this. In general terms, research shows that productivity in workers' cooperatives is higher than in conventional firms. For example, Fuck et al. 2012 shows that in several industries, conventional firms would produce more with their current levels of employment and capital when they adopted an employee-owned firm's way of organizing. One explanation is that commitment to the cause causes more productivity. The fact that employees can participate in decision-making motivates them to be more involved in the objectives of the cooperative. Another explanation is that the collective work environment enhances job satisfaction, thus augmenting productivity. Research has shown that collectivists collectivists working in simulated collectivist cultures do in fact produce more cooperative behavior than do individualists, i.e. those low in collectivism in these cultures. Furthermore, it has been argued that the collectivist ideological commitment to the group members yields higher level of motivation. Consequently, in addition to making turnover less likely, high collectivism in the WC environment should translate to high performance. They also have a lot more stability in terms of the economic downturns and the shocks that occur in the regular marketplace. Obviously, cooperatives are not like socialism or anything like that, but it is definitely closer to socialization. It is inherently anti-capitalist. How does co-ops work with huge companies? Like, not every worker could possibly have their voices heard. Do they elect representatives then? Yes. The managerial structure in a cooperative corporation works similar to a union in the sense that you actually vote for your representative rather than have a representative assigned to you that shares the interests of the owners. That is how you do it. The administrative duties are democratically voted on. How are co-ops anti-capitalist? It can function inside of capitalism, can it not? Yes. But co-ops are anti-capitalist in the same way that labor unions can be anti-capitalist in the purest sense of the word. It is against the interests of capital owners. Any kind of initiative, any kind of movement that takes away the decision-making power and makes a more egalitarian process, a more democratic process in the workplace, which is inherently authoritarian. As you guys know, it is basically a dictatorship. That's what it is. Corporations are a dictatorship. Anything that makes that process more democratic, anything that gives workers more of a say is inherently anti-capitalist. That is how it is. It's about assigning agency to labor instead of arbitrary owners by making labor the owners. Yes. Anything that moves the control of the means of production in the direction of labor would be inherently anti-capitalist. Co-ops aren't anti-capitalist. It's just an ownership structure. Shaking my head. It's even more capitalist in my opinion, because why work only 40 hours when you own the company? And if you don't do 80 hours and pressure others to do that, then it might fail. What are you talking about? That's every business. I don't know what you're seeing in there that you think you understand. I love when a guy comes in here and has like baby anarchy takes about how like work should operate, and then turns around and explains to me something that I definitely understand that they definitely do not understand. I like that you said cooperatives are identical to just giving shares to the workers. Yeah, dude. You were talking about balance sheets. Every business has those. You were saying co-ops only have that? What? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think you're misunderstanding what I was saying. What you do with the additional revenue at the end of a work year, at the end of a quarter, or at the end of like a fiscal year, what you do with that revenue in a normal corporation, in a capitalist corporation, is assigned by a group of individuals that are oftentimes appointed to a board that has a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders. Shareholders are unaccountable, unelected, just people with capital that have purchased shares of a corporation. Okay? Those people are not working in most of the circumstances. They're not working on the fucking assembly line at all. They have no connection to the company beyond the capital investment. Okay. Cooperative corporations take away that ownership from random shareholders and give it back to the actual workers that are participating in the generation of revenue. What does this chatter POV have to do with anarchism? You know, most trade unionists and syndicalists are anarchists, right? I was just simply making a joke about anarchists being like anti-work and thinking that like being anti-capitalist means like nobody works ever. Communist take. Anyone can invest in corporations no matter the capital. That's right, initial public offering. That's why you actually get to have a say on Boeing, right? You own shares after all. I'm sure that they will listen to your opinion, except you don't work there. And even if you did work there and still own shares of the company, it would not be a managing share at all. You would have no say whatsoever. That is not how that structure operates. That is not how it's not supposed to be like that. You're not on the board. Your interests are only met if your returns on your initial investment are getting marginally better year over year. But ultimately, you have no say in the direction of the company. But it's wonderful that you think you're on the team. It's like thinking a pizza party means that the company cares about you, because after all, they told you that you are just like a family, and that's why you mustn't unionize. Would co-ops have to set their price point higher to distribute the new profits to labor, or do they just distribute the existing profits more? They distribute the existing profits more. They can also, again, set their price point higher as well if they chose to do so. It operates in the same way that a regular company operates. It's just that the decision-making structure is more democratic rather than authoritarian. That's it. It's not simply just about having an ownership over the shares. It's about having ownership over the means of production, being able to have a say in the direction of the company in a democratic fashion, of course. A big mistake that many people have with cooperative corporations is that they cannot let go of the capitalist way of thinking. They cannot let go of the notion that a corporation, no matter what, is always going to have one person who is in charge of everything, which is why people automatically will always say, oh, you want the janitor to be the CEO? No. That's not how that works at all. It's not about having one guy make all the decisions, okay? It's not about having one guy make all the decisions. It's about a person making decisions about their own immediate workplace and bringing those decisions to their higher-ups to democratically organize around it. It's about democratizing the workplace. If Boeing, for example, had a cooperative structure, the decision-making would not be coming from the top down, specifically in the interests of cost-cutting initiatives, outsourcing to less regulated producers, and instead maybe they would listen to their engineers more. Yeah, a co-op answers to its own employee owners, not a board and shareholders who will vote them out in an instant for raising wages over doing stock buybacks or for choosing to make a better quality product or use better materials over squeezing every bit of profit possible. Yes. And the way this works, for the record, is that a cooperative corporation could still democratically operate in a similar way in a marketplace to be more competitive, for example, against other corporations. They could still democratically vote to engage in cost-cutting initiatives. They could still democratically vote to outsource certain aspects of labor. Okay? That is true. However, in the current way of business under a regular capitalist structure of corporations, there is no democratic association whatsoever. La, 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 no